Hello and welcome to Golden Nova's First Reacts, where I react first to all the things you want to see reacted to first, as long as I'm the first person you come to react to things first. Folks, the Duelist Genesis was the first core set in the game to introduce a new monster type, Psychic, and it wasn't really used like types normally are. I mean, usually you would get the kind of support that goes across an entire type, but Psychics went on it really hard, establishing an identity for it right off the bat as having powerful effects that you'd have to trade life points to activate. And as time went on, we'd get other versions of it. Earth Psychics have a lot of banishing synergies. We'd get little variations on it, like how Cosmos have to pay life points for their half of the deck, or it combines with machines who like being destroyed. Machines, Psychics, and Cybers have all kind of coalesced into a sphere of stuff, but it all started with Psychics. And it looks like the Duelist Advance has decided to bring them a new wave of stuff to work with in a new first of core set. We're starting a new cycle of them. They're in like 4 set cycles, one every 3 months. And it looks like not only are we getting more Psychics, but we're getting retrains of the original ones that got released. And maybe a couple of other ones. I think some other Earth Psychic monsters are getting a bit of a fresh coat of paint here. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we're doing here. Are we continuing the tradition of using Psychic as an archetype? Or are we actually going to get a real archetype to go along with them? It's time to find out with Serene Psychic Girl, a level 2 Earth Psychic tuner monster with 500 attack and 300 defense. You can use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can banish 1 card from your hand, and if you do, special summon a level 4 or lower Psychic monster from your deck except a copy of this card. Also, you can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Psychic monsters. You can target face-up monsters on the field that have a level, up to the number of Psychic monsters that you control, and increase their levels by 1 until the end of this turn. Okay, so one of the big advantages of being a low-level Psychic monster, we can emergency teleport this, which is fantastic. And because it targets up to the amount of Psychics we have, that means that we can increase the level of all of our Psychics. If they care about being targeted, that gets a trigger, and we get to modulate their levels just as we need to make whatever Synchro monster we want, because of course they gotta be Synchro-themed, because that's the set that they were, or the mechanic that they debuted alongside of. Hushed Psychic Minister, level 3 Earth Psychic monster, 0 attack, 2100 defense. You can only special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn, and you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. First effect, if you control a Psychic monster other than Hushed Psychic Minister, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. That's great, because I don't want to summon it in any other way. Second effect, you can banish this card and 1 other Psychic monster from your graveyard, then target a face-up monster on the field and banish it until the end phase. Okay, so temp banishing, that's pretty funny. Puts more Psychics into the banishment, as some of them care about. The Minister is riding a... I've seen this chair before. I swear this is a different card. Also, we didn't zoom in on this last one. Was there anything else aside from this being a Esper Girl reference? It doesn't look like it, but it does look very cute. Okay, Mind Procedure. Level 3 Light Psychic Effect monster, 1100 attack and defense. You can only use the first and third effect of this card's name once per turn, and only once that turn. First effect, you can special summon, if this card is special summoned by a monster effect or normal summoned, but not as special summoned by any spell effect, so no emergency teleport on this one. Great way to skid through that. You can pay 2,000 life points to add a teleport, normal, or quick play spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Okay, makes sense. They didn't want you to loop from one to the other. Also, it looks like teleport is becoming an archetype name. That's very funny. If this card you control would be used as material for the Synchro Summon of a Psychic monster, you can treat it as a non-tuner, love the flexibility. And if this card becomes banished, you can pay 1,000 life points to special summon it. Hey! Perfect! That's it being special summoned by a monster effect. So we bring it out, we get we pay an additional 2,000 life points. That's the kicker here. This is expensive. Holy Toledo. Well, we'll see how that works. Prototype Psychic Blaster. Hey, the baby form of Hyper Psychic Blaster, the big Synchro monster that no one made. Level 6 Earth Psychic Monster, 2000 attack, 1500 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. First effect, you can discard this card to special summon a level 4 or lower Psychic Monster from your hand or banishment. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can pay 1000 life points and banish one other Psychic Monster from your graveyard. Special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Hey, that seems pretty useful. You discard it to special summon one of your Psychics. Maybe Mind Procedure, which is a level 3 tuner. Bring this out by paying 1000 life points and banishing another Psychic Monster. And now you get to make Hyper Psychic Blaster because that's 9 levels worth of material. At least I think that's how it works. I forget what its actual... Hold on a second. Hold on one heckin' second. Hyper Psychic Blaster. That's the assault mode, which we don't care about. One tuner, one or more non-tuner Psychic Monsters. Okay, so that fits. Okay, so hey, easy to summon. Hyper Psychic Blaster's okay. It's got some like it deals extra burn damage and gains you life points depending on what you destroyed's attack and defense value. But we don't need to focus on that too much here. Right now we have Absolute Axon Kicker, a level 11 light psychic fusion effect monster with 3400 attack and 2200 defense, requiring a psychic synchro monster and a synchro monster as material, which of course means we get to play not harmonic synchro fusion, although it's a fusion monster we could, and we do psychic, so maybe harmonic synchro fusion's not the one I was thinking of. But it could work. I was thinking Excel Synchro Summon. Was it Excel Synchro Fusion? It's the one that lets you use synchro monsters as materials, kind of a miracle fusion. Anyway, it must first be fusion summoned, and you can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can pay 2000 life points to banish all face-up cards your opponent controls. Just gone. See you later. 2, cannot be destroyed by card effects. And 3, if this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish it to special summon a level 10 Psychic Fusion monster from your extra deck, and it is treated as a fusion summon. Well, Absolute Axon Kicker certainly brings to mind another Axon Kicker. The Ultimate. This one is the Absolute, but this one is the Ultimate, and it looks like that is level 10, so you get to bring this little evolved Thought Ruler Archfiend out onto the field. Same synchro material, same fusion material. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, that's fun. That's some fun stuff here. Pretty decent, especially if the synchro fusion card is worth running this for. I mean, it is a board wipe, effectively. For 2k life points, that's a steal. Especially if we start using the field spell that gives you the extra Psychic normal summon and lets you not pay life points for Psychic monster effects. We'll probably talk about that once we're finished wrapping this up, but it's a very useful field spell, especially when you start paying life points in this amount, because then the downside of the card is, like, it's almost a benefit, really. Psychic Silent Magician. No, I said that right. Psychic Silent Magician. I used Magician in terms of a monster, and I thought about Yu-Gi-Oh! For a second. Level 5 Earth Psychic Synchro Tuner Effect monster. 2400 attack, 500 defense, requiring generic material. You can use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can target a level 4 or lower Psychic monster in your grave or banishment and special summon it. Then you can increase its level by 1. Also, you can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Psychic monsters. And if this card you control would be used as synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner. It does not have any stipulations on that, so you can treat this as a tuner or a non-tuner for everything. The restriction on the summon does kind of limit what you can use it for, unfortunately, but for mechanic like synchro summoning, being able to effectively bring back the monster that you used as material, because presumably a Psychic monster is going to be part of this. This is just an easy synchro ladder for the cost being you're locked into Psychics, but if the payoff's good enough. Alright, next is Thought Cross Archfiend. Oh no, the Thought Cross buns are here. What is that is a wide boy. They turned Thought Ruler Archfiend from a pretty stacked person into an ellipsoid. They made my man a circle. They made him 3 circles. Wow. Level 8 Dark Psychic Synchro Monster, 2500 attack, 2800 defense. A bit more choosy this time. We need a Psychic Tuner monster and one or more non-tuner monsters as material. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn each. During the main phase as a quick effect, you can target one of your banished level 7 or lower psychic monsters and special summon it, and during the battle phase as a quick effect, you contribute one other monster to gain life points equal to its original attack, and if you do, this card gains that much attack until the end of this turn. So 2500 is a little deceitful, because it's not going to always be 2500. This is pretty cool because we get to bring back our banished psychics. So if by tributing them, they either get banished from the graveyard or there's an effect in play that gets them banished, we can bring many of them back with its own effect. It's an effect that activates during any main phase as a quick effect, and this is a battle phase effect that can be used at any time. So this is kind of a tricky little guy. I like him. Okay. Psychic Blaster Mark II, level 9 Earth Psychic Synchro Monster, 3200 attack, 2700 defense, requiring a Psychic Tuner and one or more non-tuner Psychic monsters as material. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn, and only once that turn. First effect, you can target one banished monster and special summon it to your field. Any banished monster. Just if you have him in the banishment, you can bring him out here once per turn. And during the main phase, as a quick effect, you can banish a monster from your graveyard, then target one other phase-up monster on the field, banish it, then gain life points equal to the banished monster's original attack. Hey, that seems like a bit of a combo here. Both of these summon out banished monsters, but this one tributes psychics tributes monsters to put them into the graveyard, and then Blaster banishes them from your graveyard to banish another of our opponent's monsters, and then we can bring them back with either of their effects and do the whole thing over again. Hell yeah. Ain't that funny. Now I just gotta get both of them on the field at the same time. Probably not that difficult, though. We've gotten a lot of really good tools in this set already, and I'm sure there's some that already exist that are doing some good work on that end. Parallel Teleport. Quick play spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name once per turn, and you cannot special summon the turn you activate this card except psychic monsters. Tribute a psychic monster that has a level to special summon a level 7 or lower psychic monster from your deck or extra deck. Then, if those monsters' original levels are different, you lose life points equal to the difference times 1,000. Okay, so what's the card name? It's like Metamorphosis for psychics only. That you can do any level for as long as it's 7 or lower. But you have to effectively pay a cost if you want it to be anything other than the level that you attributed. That's kind of funny. There's a lot of good psychics across all number of levels, so it shouldn't be too hard to get what you need to get them to match. But, of course, if you got to lose a couple thousand life points to make your plays happen, then, hey, it's a resource. You got to pay it. Teleport Fusion. Oh, wait, an actual heckin' fusion card, and it's a teleport, and it's a fusion. Oh. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. During the main phase, you can fusion summon a Psychic Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing Psychic monsters from your field and or graveyard. We've got a quick play Miracle Fusion. And if your face-up Psychic monsters, special summoned from the extra deck, are destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of your banished Psychic monsters and special summon it. Okay. So it gives them kind of a floating effect to get back your banished Psychic, so you want to get them out ASAP. Wow. Now, of course, this is a quick play fusion spell that activates during the main phase, so we do not have an El Shaddai fusion. This will not be helping us OTK our opponent, but it can set us up beforehand to at least give us some really strong assholes. And we have a kick-in fusion for that in this set. Let's do a quick look at Psychic Fusion monsters. I doubt we're going to be finding very many. Nope, that's Gemini's. That's not this set. We'll retrain that at some point. Psychic. There we go. Psychic Fusion monsters. Oh, I stand corrected. It turns out that we have had metal foes the entire time. Mutants. Oh, mutants being able to quick fusion is pretty funny. I don't think they have that. Well, no, that's not true. They have the trap card, Mutant Cry, I think, which was very effective, but as a trap card, it's a little not the best. Both the mutant ones, Shadal Wendigo, Boo, Ulti, Gaia Pelio, Blech. Crimsonite, Mithrilium, and then Ultimate Axon Kicker like we talked about earlier. Okay, so Metal Foes already have a quick play fusion spell, so we don't really need help with that. They don't really play well with a banishment either, so the grave effect of teleport fusion isn't going to help us out too much. So maybe with Ulti Gaia Paleo, because Ritual Beasts love their stuff being banished, but this one we want to summon with its own effect, or else use the other myriad ways to cheat it out. We don't want to necessarily use that one, so this is basically just for us. Man, this is wild. Okay, so obviously assessing how powerful these cards are is going to be a bit rough, because it's not an archetype. It is more psychics being treated as an archetype, the way they've built their support, which I think is really cool. We need to take a look at that field spell really quickly, actually. Where's the reset filters? It's not Brain Hazard, because that's the continuous trap card. Select a removed from play, banished psychic monster and special summon it. Which, you know, we're going to be doing a lot, because this one wants us to banish a bunch of psychics for its stuff. No, it's Brain Research Lab, I think it is. Yeah, Brain Research Lab. This is going to be a big one. Once per turn, you can normal summon a psychic monster in addition to your normal summon or set. If successful, none of you can see that. One second. Can we get a little tiny Nova here? Okay. So, once per turn, you can normal summon one psychic monster in addition to your normal summoner set. If successful, place a psychic counter on this card. You can place a psychic counter on this card instead of paying life points to activate any psychic type monster's effect that you control. When this card is removed from the field, the controller of this card takes 1,000 damage for each psychic counter on it. So, all those effects that we saw previously that cost 2,000 life points to activate, well, Brain Research Lab was kind of originally envisioned as a way to skip paying small amount of life point costs at the beginning if you were okay with risking taking more damage later. There were things that cost like 500 life points to activate or 300 life points to activate, that kind of stuff. So if Brain Research Lab left the field, you were taking exorbitantly more damage than you would have if you had just paid up in the first place. But now, these psychics are asking you to pay like 2,000 life points or even 1,000 life points to use their effect. So, why not turn that into a psychic counter on Brain Research Lab and still take less damage doing so? If anything, you also get a free extra normal summon out of it at the price of putting a psychic counter on this card. But the important thing here is that instead of paying life points, Brain Research Lab deals damage to you. So if you have anything that prevents you from taking effect damage, you can still not worry about the drawbacks of Brain Research Lab. So I think we're going to see a big resurgence of this card if the Psychic Pile becomes at all relevant, because paying life points for some of these effects is dog water. Granted, searching out a teleport, we'll check that in a second. We'll keep looking for teleport cards in mind to see if there's any other ones that are worth grabbing. But paying 2,000 for that is like, that's a quarter of your life points. Life is a resource, but come on. If this card is banished, you can pay 1,000 to special summon it. Just put a counter on it. Pay it later. If you have to pay it later. Does this have anywhere where it checks for the monster effect to activate? But you can place a psychic counter on this card instead of paying to activate any psychic monster's effects that you control. Okay, that's an important qualifier here. That you control. It has to be on the field. So we cannot use the field spell to replace this effect because this card is currently banished. We have to pay the 1,000 life points on this one, but that's fine because we're going to have to... Well, it's not fine if we have less than 1,000 life points because I'm pretty sure Research Lab would allow you to do that even if you had less life points than what the cost is because you're replacing the cost with putting the counter on the field spell. But it's a moot point. You can't do it while you don't control it. So we can't use it with that one. We can't use it to pay for this one because this card's in the graveyard at that point. But we can pay for the search because this is an on-summon effect. And we can pay for the board wipe with replacing it with the counter because that is an on-summon effect. I don't know if there's any other life point cost cards in here right now. There's not. Okay, let's do a quick look at teleport cards. Really quickly. Is there anything else aside from... Teleport is a continuous spell card. We are looking for normal and quick play spell cards. Well, we get Assault Teleport. Return an Assault Mode monster from your hand to your deck to draw 2 cards. So if you are someone out there who likes playing the Assault Mode cards, and I will be honest with you, I know exactly one person out there who will not stop talking about how powerful their Stardust Dragon Assault Mode was deck. If you're watching this, you know who you are, then congratulations. You now have a way to put that card back into your deck more consistently, so you can cycle into the cards that help you make it even more now. And all you have to do is play the Mind Protector Retrain. These cards are nifty. I'm looking forward to seeing what pile they get integrated into, or if they just make a Psychic pile in general. It would be kind of funky to see it. I don't see the overwhelming power in this pile by itself, but I can see some goofy power plays. I think Thought Cross Archfiend and Psychic Blaster Mark II make for a wild combo. Psychic Blaster Mark II, by the way, way better than Hyper Psychic Blaster. Oh my god. That card was like a glorified Flame Wing, man, and we ain't running those cards anymore for a reason. Parallel Teleport is interesting. Anytime you can cheat a wide variety of monsters into play, it's usually worth it. There's like a max cap of 6,000 life points you can lose off of this, I think. But I hardly think that you're going to swing that wide in either direction. I think it might be, we might see like sending away a level 3 Psychic to summon a level 7 and you lose like half your life points for it, but you know, people play A Hero Lives anyway, even though that costs half your life points, and that's also just getting you a monster, although that's getting you a free monster, whereas this one you have to tribute one, but you can play this whenever. You don't have to have an empty field, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm disappointed. This is a really solid piece of just generic Psychic support for things, and I look forward to seeing what they get used in. I can't visualize what exactly we're doing with these cards, like what kind of field we're trying to make, what we're trying to accomplish. Obviously, quick play Absolute Axon Kicker to blast your opponent's board setup during their, like, when they try to leave main phase 2 seems crazy. But aside from that, this all just seems like a bunch of like support cards that get you other cards that exist, and half of the ones that exist for the Psychic pile have been outdated for almost a decade now. So we'll see. But I am but one person who never really got into a lot of the Psychic decks growing up, so I would like to lean on all of you for your information. Let me know what you think about these cards. Is there a deck that these are obviously meant to pair with and they're going to cause some giant shift in the meta? Are these a lot of fluff but not a lot of action? Are these cards not actually accomplishing what they're looking to do? Let me know down below, and as always, until the next time Konami drops some juicy spoilers, I will see all of you next time. Bye-bye. Today's episode is brought to you by Dragon Shield. Get the sleeves as strong as dragon scales that even come with their own lore, and save 5% on your order by using the coupon code GoldenNova at checkout. It was also brought to you by my lovely patrons, including this month's illustrious Quasar Commanders, Upstairs Media, and Cernite JCB, Nebula Navigators, 3rd Dynasty, 50 Gigabytes, Ada Basilisk, Adam Zajdel, Ancient Wizard, Andrew Newman, Battle Axe, Kane Senpai, Charlie Mercury, Chibi Gohan, Christopher Fuss, Clockswork, Comrade Copperbottom, Eric, Frankie, Garland Chaos, Green Knight, Great Big Pillock, Hair Bear, Harry the Ominous Benefactor, Iron Zero, Iskander 711, Carp, Marion James E. Picata, Mike Cook, Millennia Asta, Muse Clark, Neon Yaminair, Orozco 09096, Panther J, Bat Poos, Rebel King Lucifer, Red Eyes Jackalow, RJ the Jank Monarch, Sonic 21 Blast, The Critic of Innocence, Thievery Coast and the Wizard Moose, Cosmic Crusaders Ally Vatia, Animasta, Anthrak, Baden Von Titty Sprinkles, Beluga Masta, Blitzwolf, Chaz Ghost, Chris B, Dr. Entity RIP, Eva Padilla, Hike Boyagian, Herbal D, Inblink, Kale the Dragon, Lobomaru02, Manga Pages, Natiel Lee Alexander, Nitromo, Not Al Gore, Nyx, Obsidian, Pombo, Rain, Rhyme Kairos, Schwenny, Shizuka Nijimura, Sophie, apparently, Sphilia, Stephen Williamson, The Legendary Raven, The Phantom Knights of Shitted Pants, The Gene, Tiger X2476, Weasel King of Weaseltown, Zaldreka and Zero Day Nova, as well as all the lovely Starlight Explorers you see on screen now. If you'd like to help me in my journey to cover all of Yu-Gi-Oh's archetypes, get my videos early, be a part of these credits and other awesome perks, it would mean the world to me if you would check out the link to my Patreon in the description or consider joining here as a YouTube member. Even a single dollar means the world to me and honestly helps me a lot more than YouTube ad rev.